Today I'm going to teach you all how to be more effective leaders, whether you run a business or have a family or a significant other or even just a friend circle in which you want to cement yourself as the leader. Becoming a leader is one of the most selfless things that you can do. For a leader is someone who inspires and motivates others, someone who others follow, which means generally they have an impact on other people. And you can use leadership for a negative or a positive effect, but if you actually have a desire to make the world a better place, make your life easier, have an impact on others, you will need to improve certain skills to become a more effective leader. And so I'm going to bring you through those skill sets and those mindsets so that you can become a more effective leader. Your job as a leader every single day is first and foremost to regulate your own emotions. Your emotional state will influence your team, your family, your friends, your spouse. Okay? So it's your responsibility to be able to regulate your emotions. This is called equanimity, an ability to return to an even emotional state. So you want to produce or have more equanimity on a daily basis. The way in which you do so is to prime yourself each and every day. When we wake up, we're not hydrated. We are dehydrated. So we want to hydrate properly with some salt or some electrolytes so that we can have elasticity in our brain to reduce from headaches and fatigue and so that we can have more focus and clarity. That's first and foremost. Then the next thing is, how do we prime our minds? We don't wake up in a super joyous, free, positive state. We need to prime ourselves and put ourselves into a state where we can handle these issues. For me, that's prayer, meditation, and I read a page in a book, usually like a Stoic book, to sort of help me with my perspective throughout the day. Now, the next thing that I want to do is have maximum oxygen in my brain to be able to achieve a high state of frequency, an elevated mood, and have that be sustained throughout the day. I need to flood myself with oxygen. I need to get my endorphins pumping. The easiest way to do that is to do some form of exercise, whether it's cardiovascular exercise or strength training. I personally like doing a difficult strength training routine each and every day. Then when I come back, I want to eat something so that I'm fueling my body to actively handle issues as they come so I can have focus and clarity. I don't want to eat a big, heavy meal. Throughout the day, in order to be the most effective leader, you don't ever want to eat a meal so big that you feel full because it's going to make you lethargic. You're going to lose focus. You're not going to be as attentive, right? And to be the best possible leader, you have to be optimal yourself. That's the key in leadership. The first step in leadership is you have to be optimal. Regulate your own emotions, have focus, energy, clarity all throughout the day. So when you're priming yourself with that very simple morning routine that I just stated, you're going to put yourself in a position to be able to lead, okay? Now, from there, you need to be motivating your team every day. Now, this doesn't look always like this hoorah, let's go get them today, guys, sort of thing, but you need to actually care about what's important to them, okay? So as a leader, the first and foremost, you need to find out, how does your team, how does your spouse, how does your family like to be communicated with? And each person has a different communication style. They have a different personality type. So when you get to know each person and how they like to be communicated with, you can package, you can frame your message differently to each person so that it has maximum impact on them, so that they feel heard, so that they feel cared about. You also have to understand what motivates each person on the team. So if you're a business owner, find out what are their goals. Ask your employees, guys, what are your 1, 3, 5-year personal, professional, financial goals? And then show them how they can achieve those goals while working at your company. And then give them a roadmap. What benchmarks, what competencies, what skills, what mindsets do you need to build along the way in order to make it from sales to sales manager to sales director to eventually to an executive? And you need to give them a path and the education, right? So when they hit certain benchmarks, it's like, hey, here's some training. You need to invest in them, right? A good leader doesn't take credit for anything. They empower people to take action even in the absence of leadership. Okay, but in order to build a team, you have to build this each and every day. You have to motivate them. You have to communicate with them adequately. You need to be transparent. Okay, as a leader, you need to advise your team, your spouse, your family, what's going on. And when they ask you questions, don't just say that's because that's how it is. Answer their questions. Be transparent. Okay? Vulnerability is not a bad thing. And when there are problems or issues, that doesn't make you look weak. When you make a mistake as a leader, that doesn't make you look weak. How you handle problems, how you handle issues, how you handle the mistakes that you made will determine your character, thus building you into an effective leader or diminishing your leadership. So when you have a problem, you just accept responsibility. Even if the problem wasn't something that you created, the more you accept responsibility for the situations and take action, logical action, without getting upset, without, talking to your team in a way that's degrading, you show yourself as the leader, okay? Now, you have to frame everything you do with your team so that they want to work with you, so that it's fun and exciting, so that even in the difficulty and the challenges and the problems, they know that you're there for them. And so for me, when I was building teams, right, when I was president of 10X Health and before that when I was at Health Gains, I used to frame my meetings with my employees. Once a week, I would remind them, guys, when I give you feedback or someone else gives you feedback, they're giving you feedback about an action that you took, an action that we can change so that we can grow in effectiveness in the business. They are not criticizing you as a person. They are not demeaning your character. So don't internalize feedback, okay? Welcome feedback. This is called being coachable. This is having a growth mind. And so you need to position your team to have this growth mind, to welcome feedback and let them know, guys, problems are going to arise in business. For if we didn't have problems, we wouldn't be growing. And if we're not growing, then nobody's going to achieve their long-term goals and make more money and have the life they want to live. So as problems come in, welcome them and understand that these are the key elements that are going to help us make changes together and grow the company. So rather than bring me problems all the time, I want you to bring me problems with potential solutions that you've thought through. And then you need to start priming your employees instead of giving them the answer all the time. Just like, a baby going to a mom's tit and sucking all the time. That's what most leaders do. Employees come in, John, we got this problem. Hey, here's the solution. Go do it. Boom. In and out, okay? Then they're always going to be reliant on you. We need to empower them to solve problems themselves. So I do this through a question-based framework where my employees come in, they say, hey, I got this issue here. And I say, well, what do you think a potential solution might be? Have you tried this? Have you thought about that? If you were in my position, what would you tell you? What would you say to yourself? And so I start to empower them to think ahead. And then in daily or weekly meetings, I would say, hey guys, there's a few different kinds of problems that will arise in a business. Some that are mission critical. They need to be solved right away. And for those problems, please come to me. Let's solve them together. Let's make sure that we're driving revenue here and we're growing as a business and as a team. There's other structural problems that maybe don't need to be solved in the moment, but can be talked about in the next day or the next week's meeting. So I want you guys to put those action items onto the meeting agenda and then we'll discuss them together, right? But I want you to have thought about a potential solution. So now I'm also showing them consistently, hey, not every problem is a fire sale, right? What this allows you to do as a leader is not only are you empowering them, but you're making sure that not every issue is just this wildfire. The other way that you start to mitigate so much problem during the day, so many putting out fires, is having set meeting structures. You have to have continuous daily or weekly meetings with your team depending upon what their positions are and what your position is. And this is where you solve issues rather than them just coming to you all the time, okay? Now, as a leader, you must become an excellent listener. I would even go so far as to do this for a week. When your employees come to you and ask you a question, don't give them an answer for an entire week. Just respond with a question and start learning how to ask them questions to help them develop the solution themselves. Right? That's how an excellent leader can really start to empower people. Now, when someone has a win, if you as a leader or a manager gave them the solution, if you made it easy for them, if you handed it to them, don't take credit for that. Give the credit to them. Okay, you want to build people up. You want to inspire people. I'm not saying just give everyone handouts and do everything for them. You should never do that. But when you empower someone to make a win and it was your effort that helped them, your action that helped them, give that credit to them. We want to build people as a team. We want to make them feel good, right? We want to recognize people. Your energy is infectious. So when you get into the office every day and everyone's like, hey, Wade, how you doing? Amazing. Going to be another amazing day. You need to build people up. There was never a day when I walked into 10X Health as president where someone said, hey, Wade, how you doing? And I was like, oh, man, it's a tough one. And guys, I dealt with a lot of brain damage, okay? We scaled from 9 million to 50 million in 1 year. Okay, that's almost 500% growth in 1 year. When you're operating at hyperscale, a lot of problems come into play, especially when you have revenue that's coming in that you can't forecast, that you can't predict. And so you're having huge spikes in revenue, and then you're having to fulfill those patients, you're having to fulfill those customers. Life's all over the place. And I was traveling. I had offices in Miami, Beverly Hills, Scottsdale. I was speaking at events nationwide and running the company as president. So I know what it's like to have a lot of pressure throughout the day, which brings me to my next point. You have to be able to handle an exorbitant amount of stress. Every problem that comes at you during the day is just an opportunity to solve a challenge. No matter how much your board of directors is pressuring you, or your investors, or your other executives, or your managers, or your employees, no matter how much stress you are going through, you need to turn the dial on stress. Stress is either diminishing or stress is enhancing. And if you let stress diminish you, you will fail as a leader. But if you let stress enhance you and you welcome it, you will grow in effectiveness as a leader. I used to be in my office with doctors coming in and telling me they wanted certain changes, with salespeople sitting here for certain trainings. I would be on phone calls, on Zooms, on WhatsApp, on Slack, on text message, on email, all at the same time. But I got to a point where I started to enjoy this. Now, the only way that you can get through so much stress and so much chaos is to learn effective executive communication. Executive communication is making sure that you ask questions to get all of the necessary information, and when you have the necessary information, making a succinct prescription of what the employee is to do so that they are not confused at all, and you do this in a very quick manner. This is how you can navigate like an executive. Fully understand the situation, direct. That's it. And if they're like, well, this, that, you say, hey, do this, and then report back. You are a general without emotion, okay? Now, practically speaking, what happens? You have these people that annoy you all day long. Your operations manager is always bitching about the salespeople overpromising, and the salespeople are saying that the operations doesn't deliver, and marketing is saying that sales doesn't follow up, and sales does. There's always friction in a business, okay? But as a leader, it's my responsibility to reduce the friction and create a nice flywheel. So I need to create a culture and a team that wants to work together. But the only way that they're going to want to work together is if they understand each of their functions and what they do. So we need to educate marketing on what sales goes through each day. We need to educate sales on what marketing's doing and what they're promoting. We need to make sure that operation understands what the customer sees when they receive the marketing message and what they're being told on these sales calls. And we need marketing and sales to understand what operations role and responsibility is and what they can and can't do. And when we start to build this structure together as a team and win as a team, amazing things happen. This beautiful cohesiveness happens. We also need to make things fun and light. When you set roles and responsibilities for an employee, they need to understand, what does success look like? We're not here to micromanage people. Either they work themselves into the business or they work themselves out of the business. And we do this by having a set of principles that they need to follow each day, actions that they need to carry out, a framework of success, and metrics to track their performance. And either they are performing in a way that meets or exceeds the standards, or they're performing in a way that is going to manage them right out, where we have to give them a couple warnings and eventually a termination. We don't micromanage. It doesn't get you anywhere. It's not going to help you. We want to empower employees. Now, aside from becoming this excellent leader and motivator and creating this culture, in order to really motivate employees, you're going to have to create an incentive structure. Every employee in the business must have 10 to 15% of their base salary that they can earn above their base salary every month, based upon certain metrics that are within their control and they can track, and that move the business forward, right? So your front office coordinator should be getting 3 5-star Google reviews, 2 video testimonials, 1 referral per month. And if she can do that, well, awesome. She gets 15% of her base salary bonus to her each month. Now she's incentivized to do so. But does she have the script? Does she have the skill set? Does she have the mindset to be able to ask for referrals, testimonials, reviews? And if not, that's your responsibility as a leader to give her the framework and the training every day so that she can more likely achieve that goal, which will make her more motivated to work for you, thus driving the business forward so that the business starts to run properly because they know what they're supposed to be doing, they have an incentive to do it, and they like working with you because you're not micromanaging them. See how this starts to work? Okay? Now, guys, you have to make this fun, right? You have to make this an enjoyable environment to come into, and your employees have to feel like you care about them because you have to. You should literally also be promoting personal development. Are you helping them with what they do before work? Providing resource for mindset, for meditation, for if it's important to you, spirituality, for fitness, for nutrition. Are you promoting a healthy workplace that is going to help them sharpen their mind and drive the business forward? Or are you ordering pizza and Dunkin' Donuts? I never understood this. It's like, yeah, hey, we did great on a Friday. Let's order some pizza and donuts. What? Bro, for what? So that your employees can go take a nap this afternoon? Like, think. Order something that's delicious and healthy and not going to slow everybody down. When I was at Health Gains, the company before 10X, I'll never forget this. I used to tell my guys, hey guys, make sure you're eating in a way that allows you to stay sharp. Don't have this huge lunch and then not answer leads for an hour and just waste time. Like, if you want to do that, fine. But since I knew each of their goals, I would say, hey Mike, if you eat like that, is it going to help Julie get that Chanel bag that you want to get her, his wife? And he would be like, yeah, man, I guess not. And I would look over at him. He's eating a Jersey Mike's sub. And I said, Mike, don't ever eat a sandwich again at work. Why? Because all that white bread and gluten and chemical and BS and all the sprayed, hormones on those, deli meats. It's like, bro, you're setting yourself up for failure. So you want to promote a culture that optimizes health and mindset. When you as a leader have set up the proper systems, when you're personally optimized yourself, when you're transparent, when you're motivating employees, when they have the right incentives, when you're promoting a healthy, positive, fun environment, you start to build culture. You start to become a place that's not just a workplace environment with a boss. You become a leader, people that want to work with you. That's how you start to really create culture and grow a business. You can never scale if everything is on you as the business owner or the manager. You have to create a workplace and an environment that people want to work with you, and structures and systems that are put into place so that the business starts to scale and scale and scale and scale. Guys, for any of you that are owners, business owners, leaders, management, directors, and you want to scale your companies, you want to build a better team, you want to create better culture, you want to become better leaders, this is what I do in my business mentorship. So you can click the link right here in the video or in my bio and apply to work directly with me in my business mentorship. I'm going to keep making more videos like this. Hopefully this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments what business topics you want to hear next. Love.